welcome to another Overcome show. In today's episode, I'm going to talk with TJ Clark, bodybuilder here from Texas, a national level bodybuilder that torn his Achilles completely and had to be out for some months. Came back 15 months later and got second place on the national level bodybuilding competition. Very cool story, a lot of insights, a lot of hard work. Let's get it started. TJ Clark, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. Happy to be here.
Hey, thanks very much for taking the time to record this. I truly appreciate you. It's a Sunday, a family day, so I appreciate that you are taking the time to record this.
No worries, man.
TJ,
I'm excited.
Yeah, one of the reason why I actually invited you, it was because it comes to my mind that big injury that you had on your when you were training at that time. I think you were at Destination, right? Training there.
Yeah, yeah,
And it was your Achilles.
yeah. I ruptured my Achilles tendon.
And were you doing squat? What were you doing when you had?
Do I have to admit it?
Yes.
No, I was actually doing a Ninja Warrior warp wall, but it was at a kid's place.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so I had taken my son there, and we were playing, and I had ran up the warp wall a few times, and actually, I was thinking it'd be a good team building thing, so I was going to video it, and I was going to send it to Greg, actually, so we could say, hey, this is a cool team building thing we could bring the staff to. And then the time I video it, that's whenever it snapped.
So did you actually record the exactly moment that you have that
Yeah,
problem?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I have it on video, so
That's crazy.
I don't like to watch it.
So did you feel like immediately?
Oh, yeah, yeah. It was a loud pop, sounded like a shotgun going off, and then I just went down.
Did you feel a lot of pain right in the beginning?
Yeah, it was pretty painful, and I knew right away what I did. I tried to move my foot, and it wouldn't move, right? You know, I'm going through the motion of my foot moving, but nothing's happening. So
Oh, wow.
The tendon was completely ruptured.
And after that, you have to go to surgery, right?
Yeah, I went in. That was on a Friday. It was Good Friday, actually. So
How many years ago?
That was 2015.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Were you prepping for any show during that time?
Yeah, I had just started my prep for USA's that year, so it was funny because I went to the emergency room, or urgent care, whatever, right after I did it, and I was like, "Okay, go get me some Chick-fil-A. Diet's off." So I stress ate a little bit that night.
But were you like in how many weeks in prep?
I had just gotten started. I was only a few weeks in, so it wasn't. Luckily, it wasn't like towards the end of prep. 2-3 weeks out. That would have been a little more devastating. It was still tough, though.
But yeah, of course, because how long you were out of the gym to work out?
Man, it took a while to get back to normal. 2 weeks. The doctor said my job for 2 weeks was to sit on the couch or in bed with my foot elevated above my heart. And then it was a few weeks after that I got back into the gym and at least doing upper body and I would do my left side and my legs. But I was in a boot and on a scooter for about 3 months.
And during that time, but I mean, I remember you going to the gym with the scooter and everything, but I think you were completely out for at least like a month, wasn't it? Were you?
Yeah, it was about a month where I didn't do anything. And then I wasn't supposed to come back to the gym when I did, but I kind of pushed the timeline. It was tough, man. Physically it sucks, but it's way harder mentally, especially someone, with what we do and how big of a part the gym is of our life.
Yeah, I'm feeling that. That's why I wanted really. Actually, that's the reason why I created this podcast, because it was much more a way for me to listen to all the experience, and I know that yours was exactly on the foot, so it's very similar to mine. I mean, yours was Achilles, mine is something different, but it's still foot. I had to lay down and keep elevated, all the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's extremely hard mentally to be able to just stop everything and your life change completely.
Yeah, it's very humbling. You go from me. I'm an athlete. I'm strong. I'm fast. I can do all these things to laid up. Like couldn't do anything. It was hell to try to go to the bathroom. Like getting up and just going to the bathroom was a
Yeah,
chore.
yeah.
It was rough. And I hate.
Shower also very
Oh yeah,
hard.
yeah. I couldn't shower for a while. I did like sponge bath, and then I got to where I would take a bath, but I had to keep my leg elevated out of the bath, and
Hmm.
then I couldn't do that by myself because I couldn't get in and out of the bathtub.
Yep.
So it was challenging. And then I hate running. Hate it. I do it
Hmm.
sometimes, but man, that within that first 2 weeks, I would have done anything just to go outside and run. So it's one of those things. Like I said, it's very humbling,
Yep.
and you start to appreciate things a little more
Right.
whenever you can't do them.
Did you have any breakdown moment like to start asking those questions of why me, why now? Because I had many times that way, thinking about that.
Yeah,
Mainly when you do it how you did, because you didn't do working out. You did it with something completely out of the ordinary.
yeah, yeah. I don't know if that's better or worse, right? You've
I think it's worse, right? Because when you're if for example, if you had this problem working out, at least it was like, well, that was part of the workout, but it was always a risk. If I put in too much
yeah.
weight, something can happen.
Yeah, yeah, and it'd be a lot cooler story to say, I'm deadlifting 700 pounds and my Achilles snapped or
Yeah,
something, but not at a kid's place
yeah.
playing with my son. And what sucks too is I had the warning signs. We do stupid things.
Oh, did you?
I
What do you
told you
mean? What do you
I've done
mean
it a
warning
couple of
signs?
times. Well, I felt it in my ankle. I did it a couple of times, and my ankle was it just felt a little funny. I was like, yeah, that kind of hurts. And then, I just didn't think about it. I was like, oh, well. And then that next time, just pop.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
it went down.
Did you,
Uh,
during this time that you were recovering, did you do anything special as far as supplements to help you to heal? Did you receive any advice about, oh, take this vitamin D or this to help the healing process?
well, Ben Pekulski, he was my coach, and he had told me to do PRP, platelet-rich plasma.
Hmm.
Um, but my doctor was against it. He thought it would help with recovery, speed things up. I ended up not doing it because my doctor advised me against it. He didn't want any injections or anything foreign going in there. He didn't want to risk infection.
Right.
So I didn't do it. Supplement wise, I didn't really change anything. Um, Honestly, I did things wrong because it's the mental thing. I kind of fell off the wagon there. It wasn't
Even with
awful.
your diet, you start eating like.
Yes, yeah. I had a mental breakdown, right? It was kind of, I was weak for a while. I didn't eat right, especially that 2 weeks I was just sitting at home on the couch. And, I would eat whatever. I wouldn't eat my diet food. I'd just eat a sandwich or eat Little Debbie cakes or some crap like that.
Hmm.
Kind of eating my feelings,
Yeah.
which doesn't help, right? Because
Right.
then you beat yourself up because you're not doing the one thing you can control. So, afterwards you get a little frustrated. Like, okay, not only am I laid up, but now I'm making stupid choices, and it messes with your head. So you kind of have to. I'm big on self-talk, so you kind of have to. I talk to myself like I do my clients. I'll
Hmm.
sit there and I'll be like, okay, TJ, listen. What can you control? What can you not?
Right.
Yeah, you can control your diet. You can control your attitude. You can control your mindset. This is done. We can't change it. So let's do everything from this point forward to make things better rather than make things worse.
Yeah, but I think that the great example that you just gave is that even someone like you that competed many times in national stage in bodybuilding, been through a lot of preps, trained a bunch of clients, has your own gym. You are also vulnerable to those situations where you're gonna feel like whatever. Now I don't have control. I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just eat myself on this moment and go off track. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're all human, right?
Hmm.
that doesn't justify it. That doesn't mean it's okay. But we all have weak moments. We all have weak times, and I tell my clients that too. You're not everybody's gonna screw up, but if you do, it's okay. Let's just get back on track.
Yeah.
That's why it's good to have a good support system too that can keep an eye on you and or that you can confide in. Like, I screwed up, man. I need some help. I'm having a hard time mentally right now, and then they can coach you up. So I try to be that person for as many people as I can, and I really appreciate the people in my life that have done that for me because it makes a difference.
Yeah, I interviewed Chip, your business partner, some weeks ago, and he also had a torn bicep. And I asked him, did you talk to TJ a lot during that time because TJ already had the experience with the injury, and he said, yeah, we talk about the process, but
Yeah,
I think for him it was a little bit easier because it was his arm, and he said that on Monday after the surgery he was already back at the gym.
yeah,
The problem with the foot is that you have to stay with the foot elevated, so you really cannot do anything. That's my problem, and that's what was your problem.
yeah. And that's the doctor was adamant about that. That especially those first 2 weeks, I could do nothing. Um, I just, like I said, lay there with my foot elevated, and that's depressing. That's tough. For a day or two, I watched TV, and then I just turned the TV off, and I would literally just lay there and by myself with my foot elevated. It was horrible.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's when you get the mental breakdown. Then you start to do stupid things like eat junk or let your mindset go the wrong direction.
Hmm.
Um, but I tried to work. I tried to work from home and do as much as I could on my computer and keep my mind occupied.
Yep.
But it's still hard. It's a big
It's
mental
still hard
struggle.
because you are not doing what you like to do, which is workout. You feel like something is missing, and you actually start feeling an identity problem because who am I? I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And luckily, I have good people in my life. I always have. I've had a good support network. Like at the time, Greg and Kyle, they came by my house and we had meetings there, so they would come to me for our meetings. So I had a little bit of being social.
Hmm.
Because that's another thing. Like everybody else has their life to live, so you can't expect people to just come over and hang out with you, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
for 2 weeks, I'm just sitting there and
But
everybody's going on about their
yeah,
business.
but did
Everybody's
you
going
did
to work.
you
Everybody's
also
going.
feel like that need to a little be isolated a little bit because I felt at the beginning that I wanted to be isolated. I really didn't want to see anyone or socialize. I just wanted to be isolated for some time. Not sure if you felt the same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, 100%. And I think that's a depression thing, which is the wrong way to go when you're depressed, right?
Hmm.
You need to surround yourself with people. Um, but yeah, absolutely. I felt the same way. I didn't, it took me a couple weeks to really want to do things. And then I was up and down. I'd be depressed and then I'd have that fight and I'd be like, okay, I need to get up. I need to get to the gym. Um, but I couldn't drive. I wasn't supposed to. It's my right foot.
Oh,
And
it
I
was your
wasn't
right
supposed to drive.
foot. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I couldn't, I wasn't supposed to drive. Eventually I started driving anyway. Um, and I would drive up at the gym and I would drive to work and just roll around on my scooter.
Yeah.
And like I said, do one-legged workouts and do upper body.
How long it took for you to feel confident in lifting heavy again and start doing things with your right leg where you're like, well, I'm on. That's me again.
Honestly, I've never been the same.
Oh, really?
Um,
Wow.
it's
That
when
cannot be true, man. I've seen you lifting a lot of weight.
lifting wise, I got my strength back eventually, and it was more the dynamic stuff. Because I like to do high intensity stuff every once in a while too, box jumps and sprints and things like that. And that's where I was scared. Because if you do something dynamic, I start to be explosive. I'm worried that's going to pop.
Hmm.
And I wasn't as worried about the one I ruptured, especially 3, 4, 5 months down the road. I was worried about the other one because a lot of times people that tear an Achilles, they'll end up rupturing the other one because of compensation.
Right, right,
So
right.
I was scared of that. So I'm like, if I do this, am I going to compensate too much? And when I first started back running, I had some of those issues, not with the Achilles, but I would compensate with my left leg, and I could feel it whenever I would run. I started having knee issues, hip issues. So, like I said, I haven't
Well,
been the
but
same since
this
then.
is more from the condition perspective. Now, from the bodybuilding, core bodybuilding training workout, when were you feeling like, okay, now I can do squat, now I can do leg press again? Like 6 months maybe.
Yeah, that's probably about right. Where I was doing some pretty decent weight, and I wasn't scared. Deadlifts and squats are hard because you have to have that flexion in the mobility in your foot to squat down. Leg press, I could adjust my feet a little bit. It wasn't as bad. But yeah, definitely squats and deadlifts. You think about it for a while. But my strength came back pretty quick, and it usually does. I
What
think
about
people.
size? Because I remember your leg also, of course, shrunk a little bit because you were not training.
Oh yeah, it's the atrophy was really bad, and my calf is still about an inch smaller than the other one. Even my quad doesn't have the development on my right side as the left anymore. But yeah, the calf it came back. The doctor said it would come back within a quarter of an inch, and it's still an inch shy. And I've done a lot of unilateral training. It just doesn't fire the same as it did before.
But what
So
was your strategy when you came back? Were you like doing more reps for the right leg, or were you doing more weight for the right leg? To catch up.
um, I went to physical therapy for several months, and that was good. Um, but I didn't do anything. I wouldn't do other than physical therapy. I didn't do anything extra. I just did things unilateral. So if I did, you know, even though my left leg was stronger, if I only did 10 on my right, I would only do 10 on my left. If I did 2 plates with my right, I would only do 2 plates with my left because I wanted to
Equalize.
keep everything the same.
Yeah. So you didn't really reduce the intensity on your left to compensate and do more on your right, right? You try to do
Yeah, that's what I would try to do. And I would just, since my right was the weak one, I would take that one to the max, and whatever that was, I matched it with the left instead of, because I didn't want to continue to push my left to be stronger
Got it. Yep.
and continue to stay ahead, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That makes sense. Makes sense. And this process of feeling almost even took like a couple months or more than that. I mean, of course, you said until today it's still not the same, but at which point you're like, well, it look good now. It's not as bad.
That's a hard question for a bodybuilder, right?
Yeah.
Because we're our own worst critic. Like I said, it's still an inch smaller than the other one. Uh,
Yeah, but
but I would say 6, 8 months maybe,
yeah. Wow.
somewhere in there. And then it was growing. It was starting to look.
Was this the reason
It
why
looked
it
good.
took so long for you to compete again?
Well, actually, I came back in 2016. That happened in 15. I did a show in July of 2016. It did really well. I was one place out of my pro card at that show. So
So that was
I kind of back
one
then.
year in more than a year later, right?
It was, yes, 14, 15 months later. Yeah. Because it was April of 2015, and I competed in July of 2016.
Yeah. No,
And
that
it still affected my entire prep,
did
a year later.
really. But in which sense? On your strength, or more psychologically that you were afraid to push too hard?
Both. I think I was early on. It was psychologically, and then I got over that and kind of just decided to push through. But there were times it just wasn't there. Like on cardio, on the stairs, it would give out. If I was doing like incline walking, it would give out. It would just fatigue faster, and then I would find myself limping or compensating, which you don't want to do.
Hmm.
I didn't want to lead to further injury, so I still got it done. But it was there. It was in my head. Um, but I prepped differently. I would do smaller increments of cardio,
But
and there was a point where I
to
was
be
doing cardio
honest,
3 times
yeah,
a
to be
day.
honest, for the problem that you had, which was a rupture on your Achilles, and you came back in 6 months, that's a really good time because I remember that Kobe Bryant, when he had the same problem you had with his Achilles, it took him 11 months to be, playing again.
Yeah, but you have to consider with him, it's a much more dynamic sport. Like the explosiveness, like I was saying, that was what I was more scared of at a point. The weights, it came back. The physique-wise, I could train it, but if you wanted me to go out and do a plyometric workout 6 months after it happened, that wasn't going to happen. I wasn't about to do an explosive, box jump or something.
Like a HIIT workout.
Yeah.
And during the first prep, you were basically doing cardio on the Stairmaster. Did you not do anything crazy, right?
Yeah, I would just do walking, incline walking, Stairmaster, elliptical, bike. Yeah, but I wouldn't do any running or no HIIT. Because usually I like to incorporate a lot of HIIT in my prep to a certain point. But that prep, that wasn't an option.
On your last show, which was this year or last year?
This year,
right?
Yeah, I competed in September.
It was a better prep, do you think?
It was a really good prep. It was a disappointing outcome. You want to talk about overcoming? That's one thing I'm battling right now, is overcoming that. Just the mindset of it, the mental. I went into that show feeling better than I've ever felt, looking better than I ever felt, and it just didn't work out very well. My look on stage wasn't good. I did not place well. It's the worst I've ever placed, and that's tough when you go in with the mindset, this is the best I've ever looked, and then you place worse than you've ever placed.
But why was that? Because prior to the show, you were very focused, and as you said, you were thinking that you were really good. It was on the day of the show that things started fading away.
It's not an excuse. I hate to use excuses.
Well, but there is it's not. Let's use it as a justification. What happened? There is always the what happened.
Yeah, I was sick the night before the show. I had stomach issues. I was up all night sick, and I think the medicine I took, may have affected my water balance or something. But you can watch pictures throughout the week, and they progressively were better. And I didn't do anything crazy or different the night before or the day of. But the only thing different was I started taking medicine because I was cramping so bad. My stomach was cramping and hurting so bad. I was thinking, I can't go on stage like this.
Wow.
So I took some stuff for that, and my look just went the wrong direction. So
you were not as dry as you were before. You think did you lose dryness, or it was more like fullness?
Both. I think it caused me to retain water, and I wasn't as full as I probably could have been. Yeah, it just everything smoothed out, which is crazy because I hear these stories all the time. I've seen it happen, but it's never happened to me. And yeah, that last 12, 15 hours, it just...
And that was national, right? That was in Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, that was at the North Americans, yeah.
Wow.
It was frustrating. I placed worse than I ever had. So...
And by the way, you still look great on the pictures that I saw. So,
thank you.
As much as you are a very self-critique, and we all are in the sport of bodybuilding, but you still look pretty amazing. Probably for the level of the lineup, not as much as the other ones, right? I mean, probably everyone was sharp, and it's a difficult tournament for sure.
Yeah, it was a great show. It was the largest bodybuilding show ever.
Really?
It was
during the pandemic, the largest.
Yeah, I think there was over 1,700 competitors.
Wow,
it was crazy.
Were you on the master division or open?
I did open and masters.
And both you didn't do well?
No, I think I ended up with 8th place in masters, something like that, and I didn't place in open. And there was 25 plus in each of my classes.
Well, 8th place is not that bad in the national level.
Yeah.
No, it is not. It is not. If you think about the amount of people and 8th place is probably second call out, isn't it?
Yeah, I was second call out. Yeah. But whenever
of course, we all go to win.
Second, yeah. To go from second place to 8th or worse, it's tough, especially when you go in thinking you're a lot better. But that's just me being self-critical.
Of course,
So
yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And the previous time that you were on the same stage was exactly the first competition after the injury, right?
yes, yeah, that was the last time I did a national show, and I got second there.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
crazy, isn't it? Because you just came, after the injury and you got second place. That's amazing.
yeah, but it's and I usually have the mindset, I had my little pity party and all that, but this is going to be motivation, right?
Hmm.
I'm gonna have a lot of drive in this next year, and I'll do everything I can because that feeling I had on stage and coming off stage, I never want that feeling again.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do everything I can, and I'm gonna push as hard as I can to make sure that doesn't happen again.
But at
So
the same time, TJ, I think there are things that we just don't have control, right? Right? I mean, who will guess you're gonna get sick one night prior to the show, right? I
yeah,
think that
yeah,
the same thing happened with Steve Kuklo when he was competing in San Antonio some years ago. He got sick one night before,
yeah,
and he was very flat on stage the next day. He said that he
yeah,
was vomiting and all that stuff. So it's hard. There are things you don't have control. It's like me. I
yeah,
got
absolutely.
this injury doing the same thing that I always do, and same movement, same everything. It happens.
Yeah, that's life, though, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's competition or whatever it is, you go in and you get laid off from a job. Uh, Things you can't control.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the mindset is important that you come back. Like I said, I had my time of being upset about it, and now it's you just turn that into drive and do everything you can next time. And then if something out of your control happens, it happens. But I'll make sure next time that barring something happening I can't control, I'm gonna leave no choice in the judge's eye that for
Absolutely,
them to look
absolutely.
at
I have
me.
no doubt about that. Now, talking about overcome, I know that you also overcome something different recently with this whole COVID, and you just had your gym, and then 1 week after
Yes,
the gym opens, COVID strikes, and you have
yes,
to close it, right?
yeah.
So that was
That was
crazy
tough.
because you
Yeah,
just moved to this new facility, bigger, everything new, and then COVID hits, and you guys have to close.
yeah. And we went through the construction period of building our new facility, which in construction it always happens this way. It's longer than you expected, so we kept having to push back our opening date, and then we finally do get to open. And like you said, it was 1 week later they shut us down. So
That's wow.
that was hard, but I'm very blessed because since we opened back up, we've had a huge response from the community, and our gym is growing at a rapid rate. The community at the gym is awesome. The culture is awesome. So I couldn't be happier.
Are you
I
there? Are
think
you there all the time?
no, I've actually been doing some other work on the side. So I'm kind of back and forth. Like I do remote. I have a great manager in place. Um, Brandy, she helps a lot. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be able to go do this other job and do some side things like this. But yeah, that's my staff is incredible. So and it helps having business partners too.
Yeah,
I
but
had
do you
when
go there what at night there? Because you train there, right?
well, I'm out of town right now, so I'm out of town, in and out of town a lot. So when I'm in town, obviously I'm going to train there. Um, well, I try to train there, but when you're out of town a lot and you come back, everybody wants to talk to you. That's another obstacle to overcome. Uh, but I enjoy it. I would never turn away my members and my gym family talking with me. But, um, but yeah, it's the only facility I'm gonna train at when I'm home.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's great. And I heard that you guys are also opening martial arts with jiu-jitsu, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, yeah. We want to be diverse.
Yep.
We have a lot of different aspects that we're shooting for, and we have a lot in the pipeline too. But yeah, the martial arts, we have jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai, and that's kicking off on November 16th. So we're doing all the last minute things for that.
Are you gonna be
I'm
there for
really
the? Are
excited
you
about
gonna
that.
be there for the grand opening?
Yeah, we're gonna have a big kickoff. We have some people coming in to do some demonstrations and things like that, so that'll be fun.
That's great.
And then yeah,
Oh, that's amazing. When I talked to Chip, he was telling me about the amount of new members that you guys got after COVID. He said that there was a time that there was a line outside. I was like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, I couldn't believe the response. We opened up early before the state allowed us to, and honestly, I think that's the best thing we could have done because we got a huge response from the local community for that. A lot of people supported us in that, and then I've had goals, right? Of I want this many members in this amount of time, and this is kind of where I think we need to be at this point, and we've surpassed all that. I couldn't have imagined, to go from in the middle of COVID wondering are we going to make it?
Mm.
Are we going to be able to open our business? Are we going to lose all this? Everything we've put all this time, money, and work into. We were close to losing everything, and to make it through that, and just the grit and grind, and to get through that time, and then open up, and just for us to be growing like we are, it's a huge blessing. So I'm very, very fortunate.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, thanks for sharing both stories. I think both are great examples of overcome. And if you are in the DFW area, make sure, or specifically in Rockwall, right?
Yeah,
Make
Rockwall.
sure to visit Legends Fit,
Yeah,
which is located where? Highway.
it's right off Interstate 30,
In,
1830 Interstate 30.
okay.
Yep.
And it's open 24/7. Or is what is the time? It's like 5 a.m. until 9.
We're staffed from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m., but for members, we're open 24 hours.
Okay.
So once you sign up, you get a key card. You can come whenever you want.
Okay. Including Saturday and Sunday.
Yes. Yeah, Saturday and Sunday. Sunday, we're not staffed, but members can come in.
And Saturday you staff on the morning probably, right?
Yes. We're 10 to 4, 8 to 4. Sorry, 8 to 4 on Saturdays.
All right, great. All right, TJ, thank you very much, my friend. Stay safe, and thanks for joining the show today and sharing your stories.
Thank you, Yuri. And, stay positive. Keep grinding. You're going to come back better than ever.
Yeah, absolutely, my friend. Take care.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.